Thanks for tapping in with Cray TV. We are here with a very special guest, Janai R Shell. She is an author, a home advisor, a mom, grandmother, and my godmother. How are
I'm
you?
well. Thank you for having me.
Good. Thank you for coming and joining me today. Um, I read most of your book. I would say most. I know you can judge. Excited to talk about it. Are you?
Yes.
Are you tired of talking about it?
No. Why would I
Okay.
ever be tired?
'Cause I know you've been talking about it already a lot. So, okay, we just gonna dive in. So, did you always have a passion for writing, like as a child?
Yes. I've always enjoyed writing. I used to write poems and short stories and different things of that sort. Or anytime we had an assignment in school to write, I always went in, and
Mm.
always chose a topic that would likely, bring about difference of opinions and different things of that sort. So yes, I have always enjoyed writing. I've always enjoyed um, stirring up conversation.
Okay, okay. So I just learn more and more about my godmother every time I talk to her. So, what was your inspiration for this book topic?
The topic, basically having a man who is seen as desirable by most people that he encounters being denied by a woman who's not necessarily the ideal picture of beauty or whatever. Still a beautiful woman, just not, the slim petite type of woman. Came from reading. I challenged myself to read several books. I think it was a 25 book, and this is going from not reading at all to reading 25 books. And I noticed that every book that I read, if it was speaking about a person who was larger, she either was, being shunned by everyone, or she was not happy with herself.
Mm,
So instead of me piggybacking off of that, as a proud plus size woman,
thank
I
you.
decided that I would write from a different angle. I didn't want to exacerbate the idea that plus size is automatically not attractive, that's a downright lie.
Yeah. So, what are some of the challenges you face like during your writing process?
Well, writing is not an immediately lucrative career, so I still have to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I have an idea that I need to express, I need to get it out, I still have to go and do my 9 to 5 job.
Right.
And on top of doing a 9 to 5 job, I am a wife, I am a mother, I am a grandmother, I am a godmother, I am a best friend. So it's like
Mhm.
you can't shut down life in order to write.
Yeah.
So I had to steal moments here and there
Mm-hmm.
to finish the book. I was writing. I have it on my phone, and I'm writing in the doctor's office. I'm writing while my husband is driving us somewhere. I'm writing while I'm waiting for the movie to start. It was just that having to write wherever I could, and then coming up with ideas and trying to maintain it, because I don't necessarily write anything down before I
Mm-hmm.
put it in the story. Trying to maintain the thought, and not
Right.
losing it.
Yeah.
That was difficult.
Like softwares did you use for that? Did you use notes in your phone? Did you use like Google Docs or something?
Google Docs.
Google Docs.
I
Okay.
used Google Docs to write because it allowed me to write from wherever I could connect.
Mm-hmm.
So I would write on my laptop at home, and if I were, out and about, I would write on my phone.
Okay. Was it hard to do on your phone?
No,
Okay.
no, because my phone is a mini computer, so I do everything
Okay.
on my phone.
And how did your family react to your book?
Everyone seemed to be shocked that my mind goes there,
Mm-hmm.
because when you see me, you see the nice, sweet, one that goes to church, barely doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't do any of this stuff. But Shelly has another side,
Yes.
that my husband is fully aware of, and anyone that I have been in a relationship is fully aware of. But not everyone knows that part of me, so you got a chance to see a little bit of it.
Right. And how comfortable did you feel telling them like about your book, like in the nature, or did you just let them read it first, or did you tell them like what it's gonna be about?
My guarantee, or the way that I tell people about the book, is I say it's spicy.
Okay.
And I tell people to be careful. You know, I said it's spicy, so be careful. You know, and some people don't believe that I go where I go, you know, and I'll get calls later on going, "Oh, you're freaky," or "You nasty," you know. That's the usual thing, but it's natural.
Does it bother you?
To be called nasty? No,
Okay.
not at all, because it still ain't even tapped the surface.
Period.
Okay?
Okay.
So yeah, I believe it's something that it's beautiful, it's a gift, and it can be enjoyed if you allow yourself to enjoy it. I'm not a prude in any way, so I don't look at sex as being a negative. You know, or anything that should be hidden, or something that should be shunned, or held in a hushed corner of a room. You know, it's, if you talk about it, you can get better. You can learn a few things. You can learn a few things, and you know, you might get some pointers. And I don't mind sharing and learning. It's always going to be something that you can learn about. Not everything is going to be your cup of tea, but you might be able to change it to make it fit what you want to do.
Right, right. Okay. So, have you or anyone you know ever made a bet like the one in your book?
I wouldn't say exactly like the one in the book, but uh, my brother, my oldest brother, actually told me a story when he and his wife were younger, where his friend bet him to talk to his wife. And it wasn't like the same as the one in the book. It was, he just bet him because she was so pretty and everything like that. So it was like, hey, I dare you. It was not necessarily a bet, but a dare.
Right.
I dare you to talk to her. And he did, and now they're married and been together for 30 plus years.
Well, that was a real good dare.
Right.
Okay. So, did anyone you know inspire your characters?
I think I well, I don't think I know for a fact. I took a lot of the personalities of the various men in my life and meshed them all together for different parts of the main characters. A lot of people think that Genesis is the main character. The Chronicles of Love, Lust, and Revelation circles around the Henry brothers. So Donovan, Miles, and Hudson, they are the primary focus, or their family or familial relationship is the primary focus. And since I grew up in a situation where it was primarily men, you know, their influence is what brought about the attitudes and personalities of the characters in the book.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see that with Donovan. Like, all right, you see, as soon as I start reading, I'm like, is that my dad? And I'm
No.
like, okay.
He's not your dad, but you know,
But I can see like
he has a lot of he has certain characteristics of your dad. Because he is someone that I have known for a very long time, you know.
And a lot of men too.
Yeah.
He got
And a lot of men.
Yeah.
He's Donovan encompasses the personality of a lot of men that I've known. And what I call it is a nice asshole. That's what it is.
Okay.
You know, very nice people.
Nasty.
And they could be very good people, but they can also be assholes.
Yeah. I feel that. Okay, well, did you ever feel like you want to give up on writing this book? Like,
Never.
okay,
Not one
period.
time. Um, I believe that the story needs to get out. Only because, okay, I said I had the challenge of reading. I noticed while I was reading, none of the characters looked like people I knew.
Mm,
You know, none of the characters in the books that I was reading looked like people I knew. Either they were drug dealers or, someone who, just it was just something that either they were white or they were drug dealers. It was like
yeah.
very little in between. And I'm sure that there are authors who write the in between, but I hadn't come across any.
Mm,
So instead of me complaining about how no one else had written the character, I wrote it myself.
okay.
Thank you.
So, how long did it take you to write the whole book?
7 months.
7 months.
7 months. I started writing in March and I was done in October.
Wow, that is like very inspirational. That's not long, really. Is it like what's the
No, that's not a long
average?
time. And actually, that includes the fact that I had completely deleted the book by
Mm.
mistake.
Wow. So how did you feel when you're when you finally finished, like the moment you knew like okay, or was it like, well, I gotta edit now?
When I wrote the ending of the book, it kind of felt like, man, I'm I'm not talking about my friend anymore. I'm not sharing their story anymore. I have to go into something else. So it was almost like a loss of a relationship. It wasn't so deep to where it's like, oh, I'm crying. I was
Mhm.
excited that it was done. And
Mhm.
I did switch into, okay, now we have to, get this published and get this out here. But it was the conclusion of my first story.
Mhm.
So it was a little bittersweet. A little
Yeah.
bittersweet.
So, are you considering an audiobook version?
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
I am in the process of getting an audiobook done. Was going to do that myself as well. Um, I had bought all of the equipment and everything like that. And every time I got someone that was willing to read the book as it is, something happened and they weren't able to do it. So I have reached out to a company that is going to get the actors and different things like that to do the audio book.
Or do you think it has to be a black person, people acting those things out?
I prefer, and I don't care genuinely.
Mhm.
If you're able to put across what I need, I don't care. But I have noticed that it's easier
Yeah.
for a black person to do it. And
Yeah.
then there are voice tones. If your voice tone is able to, if I talk to you on the phone and I don't know,
Yeah.
you know, I
Mhm.
don't care. I just
Right.
want it to sound the way that it sounds in my mind.
Mhm. Have you came across any books or audio books where it sounded where you know that they didn't sound
Yes.
okay?
And that's why I
Yeah.
don't want that because it threw off the whole vibe of the book for me.
Mhm.
It's like Donovan is not Morgan Freeman, but he's also not Channing Tatum.
Okay.
So
Right.
we need to hear Donovan,
Yeah.
and to me, Donovan sounds like more of a what's the guy that played Cross in the TV show?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds more like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Mhm.
I want it to come across as real as possible.
Mhm.
And that was even the idea when I wrote the book. I want it to be real. I want for you
Mhm.
to read it and see your cousin. I want
Right.
you to read it and see your father,
Mhm.
see your aunt or
Yeah.
your friend in this position. I don't
Yeah.
want it to seem like you're standing outside. I want it to seem like you're sitting in the room and you can laugh better. You can enjoy it
Hmm.
because you know these people.
Are there any authors you look up to?
Look up to, eh, I wouldn't say look up to, but there are authors that I enjoy their writing.
Okay.
Danielle Allen. I think she's a great African American authoress. I like Elle Thorpe. She's pretty good. She's the book that I was reading, and when you were doing my hair, she's the
Mm,
author of that. I like Stephen King too, so
I heard
just
that name
a
once.
nice different batch of
Hmm.
here, there, and the other.
Yeah.
And I like Frida McFadden. Frida McFadden's decent.
With reading other people's books and writing your own now, what advice can you give future authors?
The biggest bits of advice that I can give is to one, be true to the story that you want to tell, because for me writing is like I have stories in my
Hmm.
head and I need to get it out.
Hmm.
If I'm not true to the story that I want to tell, then it's going to constantly bother me.
Mm,
So be true to the story that you want to tell. Plus, if you try to make it be too universal, you'll lose the story.
mm,
So you write the story that you want to tell and be ready to receive the backlash from those
hmm.
that don't understand your story.
Right.
So you're not
Okay.
going to be able to please everybody. So make sure that you're pleasing yourself in writing the book.
Well, can we look forward to reading more of your selections?
Yes, I am in the process of writing The Choice right now, which is the second book in the Chronicles of Love, Lust, and Revelation. This one highlights Miles and Nikki,
Mm,
um, their their relationship and the ups and downs and twists and turns and all of those
hmm.
things. The Chronicles of Love, Lust, and Revelation. The bet was the love portion of it, so
Okay.
the choice is the lust portion of it.
Mm,
So, and I'm learning because this is my first series in undertaking this way of writing. Having to build off of characters that were already written
hmm.
is a little more difficult. Having to market a book that is already written while trying to write another book
Right.
is difficult as well. I don't have a publisher. I am my publisher. So all of the stuff that normally you can pass on to someone else, I am having to do it myself.
Independent
Andy,
author.
Andy.
Oh.
I don't want to be an
Hmm.
independent publisher or anything like that. I would
Hmm.
like to have a publishing company or something like that, or very reputable publishing
Yeah.
company that's not going to uh,
Play with you.
try. Thank you. Play with me. Don't play with me and don't try to hinder me in my writing because I like being free, which you
Yeah.
can get from me when I have the freedom to write. Don't
Hmm.
try to tell me what to say. Let me
Hmm.
say what I'm going to say. And I guarantee
Hmm.
you'll like it a lot better than what you would if you're
Hmm.
trying to police what I'm saying.
Yes, I love that. Well, I want to thank you again so much for coming and
Thank
for
you.
writing such a juicy book,
Thank you. Thank you.
okay, for us to read. Please tell us again where to find your books and where to look for the audiobook when it comes and everything else.
Well, you can go to my website at Janai, JANAIRSHELL.com, and find the different links for the book. Right now, it's sold on Amazon and also Books By. And hopefully, the audiobook will be out soon. And it should be Audible or anywhere else that audiobooks are available.
Yes. So we will be looking for more juicy stuff, and we'll see y'all next time on Cray Cray TV. Thank you.